So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. I started skating when I was 8 years old in Montana. My older brother taught me. I looked up to him, wanted to do everything he did, like any younger brother. And skating was just the one thing that took off. We had moved from Montana to Florida. In Florida is when I learned you could get sponsored and get discounted on stuff from skate shops, and my head exploded. I was like, are you kidding me? So in Florida, I skated for a skate shop called Interlight. It was at an age where I needed to be skating all year round to progress to the level that I need to be at to do what I love for a living. That's where all the sponsors started and more contests, and I got on Mana skateboards when I was 14 and was traveling around the country for 3 months a summer, and I was just a little asshole at every gas station skating the curbs like Speedy Gonzalez with a bowl cut looking like a baby He-Man. In this transition with Montana and Florida and all over, I ended up going out to Tampa Am. I got the golden ticket at Tampa Am, which means you go straight from the qualifiers to the finals. So I got to skip the whole semifinals. I ended up winning best trick in the contest and then ended up winning the whole contest that year. I guess Cinderella story, I was just some little white kid from Montana, nobody had ever heard about. The team manager, Ryan Reese of Circa at the time, sits me down in the hotel room and is like, hey man, welcome to the team. And I'm about to explode. I'm 17, I just got put on one of the top companies in the game right now. This is insane. Pretty much after Tampa, the circuit team manager, he said, hey man, if you want to do this skating thing, you got to move to California. I'm like, okay, that's what I've always wanted to do, no problem. So my dad got me a 1987 Chevy Celebrity for $500, and I drove that bad boy all the way here from Montana. And then the Circa video comes out and it blows up. I start getting all these other sponsors and I'm working my ass off, man. I go from being this kid from nowhere, sleeping on floors in California, just trying to do what I love, man. That's all I wanted to do, and now I'm 20 years old making a couple $100,000 a year. It's so surreal doing what you wanted to do as a kid. It's you've worked so hard, but it's almost in at least me in disbelief, I can't believe I did it. So the foundation video came out, not even too long after that, they turned me pro because I had been working on an interview for Thrasher, and I'd been getting interviews in pretty much every other mag. I was getting interviews in everything. The main announcement for turning pro, I got cover of Thrasher and a 20-page interview. It's I worked so hard, but still kind of in disbelief, dang, I felt so blessed. And I just kept reminding myself, all right, you haven't made it. You gotta keep going. Circa was my family, everybody there, we slept on the same couch together, we did everything together filming for Circa its time. I guess the family vibe just started changing once money wasn't there as much anymore. Because when I got on Circa, and all my sponsors really, the industry was killing it. It was the attitudes of the people in the company that changed. It wasn't family anymore because there wasn't enough money, and it was such a bummer because, at 16 years old, you believe whatever you want, especially somebody offering you your dream. And I got my dream. And now the people who gave it to me were not doing what they said they were gonna do. And it really bummed me out, man. I got really depressed, because it went from like literally, like I thought of them as family to like, oh, what? Like, we're not talking now? I'm not getting my paychecks. You're not telling me why or anything. They were trying to give me a pay cut in the middle of my contract, and I was like, it had gotten so weird. There was no family aspect at this point that I was like, no. Like, pay me, I'll just ride it out and then bail. Which sucks, because I never wanted it to be that. I wanted to ride with the company. If they're hurting, I'll hurt with them. If, like, whatever, it'll get better. My checks aren't coming and I still have bills to pay. Like, what am I gonna do? They said, keep your original pay, we're gonna kick you off. That's when I realized, like, okay, it is a business. Everything that I was told growing up in this industry is a lie. And it hit me hard. It hit me really hard. It ate away at my soul. It was easy not to show it, but man, I was a salty bastard. How I guess, coped with that was drinking, because it was easy. So this is when I start drinking a lot more. So I'm just scrolling through Instagram, and I see this photo of like an Ace Hardware. I look at it, and it's Tumultuous posted it, which is the distribution that Foundation is out of. And it's like, hey, we've got your last Dan Murphy board here, and I think they just sold the last Sierra board. The last Sierra board ever for Foundation. That's what they're saying, and that's what they meant. That's how I found out for sure that I wasn't on anymore. It was basically like the perfect storm of just dump on my life happening at once. Like getting hurt a bunch, rolled ankle, out for 3 weeks, heel bruise, out for 3 months, getting kicked off sponsors, finding out on Instagram. Like I'm literally sitting in my house that I'd bought, like, what is happening to my life right now? What is going on? I'm freaking out and I'm just drinking. And I've learned to function so well drinking that I'm just drunk all the time. You would never think that I would be that dude. And I kind of got hyped on the fact that nobody knows type thing. I'd gotten so crafty at hiding my sadness and my bitterness in drinking that nobody could notice, like a chameleon. So I was like, all right, I should probably try to quit, for real. And I couldn't, and that's when I realized, like, oh damn, there's a problem. I got invited to go on this trip to New Mexico with a bunch of friends that I used to travel with. This is when it was like, all right, life's real. We got invited to this fiesta at one of the coordinators' homie's house, and there's like 40 people there. I'm kind of tired, and I know that there's stuff going on with me because like I cut back on drinking and I can feel it. Like I'm shaky and sweaty, and I'm just trying to stand through it. I'm sitting in this chair, and I just got done talking to somebody. And in my head, I was like, man, I think I'm gonna go take a nap in the truck. I'm tired. So then I wake up in the truck to somebody I don't know shaking my leg. And I'm like, what's happening? So what had happened is I had a seizure. I had a seizure sitting on the chair. I fell over, foaming at the mouth, convulsing. I don't remember any of it. The guy shaking my leg to wake me up was the paramedic. And he's going, hey, get up. And I'm like, I'm disoriented. I don't know what happened. So I get up. I'm like, what's up, dog? Like, what? He's like, dude, you had a seizure. You need to come and get in the ambulance right now. I was like, what? No. And he's like, what's the date today? And I was like, I don't know, but it's Thursday. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, who's the president? I was like, Bill Clinton. And he's like, oh, we've got memory loss. I'm laying in the truck like, what? Memory loss? What? Wait, no, let me get another try. Hold up. Barack Obama, I nailed it, got it. And then he's like, okay, but you gotta come get in the ambulance. You had a seizure. We need to take you to the emergency room. And I look up and I see the ambulance. And I ain't trying to ride no ambulance. That's expensive. And you've heard the story. I ain't getting paid anything right now, really. After that, I guess I was in and out of consciousness. I just remember being in the hospital with my 2 friends who drove me, and them like crying next to me and stuff, dude. And I just remember waking up and like, I guess realizing what I had done.
It's okay, you're past it.
I'm not crying because I'm sad.
I get it, I understand.
Yeah. Alright, so the doctor comes in and he's basically like, you got high blood pressure, low blood sugar, cholesterol through the roof, dehydrated, and your liver is about 2 steps away from failing. And I'm sitting there like, okay, getting a real strong kick in the teeth from reality. When you're so engulfed with drinking, at least for me, I couldn't think about anything else. Like, it was on my mind constantly. Even after just finishing a sip, it was the next thing. Like, it was, and I didn't know how to change it. And like, sitting in the hotel room and my 2 friends there, and they prayed for me, and like something switched in my brain. At that point, everybody knew there was something wrong with me. I mean, I looked like Jabba the Hutt from Star Wars. Like, I was looking rough, dude. I look at old footy and I'm like, dang, that dude looks like a pile of trash on a board. Like, at least now it's bearable. And I stayed in Texas for 6 weeks, basically like my own version of rehab. And it was awesome, man. I skated every day. There was parks to do. I was getting happier again. Like, I didn't have a crutch that I needed anymore. I don't know, I was free. Like, I was literally free. I can't believe how much energy I had after not drinking. I feel like I'm that kid again. Like a little kid learning a new trick. Like, watch this. You might not be able to hear it too good, but dude, she's going nuts. She's so hyped. She just landed her first kickflip. Like, that's so sick. Like, that's how I want to feel every day. Like, it's so cool, man. I'm just hyped on skating. Like, it's been a year now since the seizure. I've got like so much more energy. I'm skating more than I ever have. I'm better than I've ever been. And all these opportunities start coming into play. Like, I got hit up for a clothing company called Key Street. And like, they gave me a line like, we got Momo Kitty here. I'm even getting sponsors that I had when I was that age, like Mystery. I'm hyped, man. New footy coming out. I've been going on a bunch of trips and stuff. It's funny, man. I just skate and like, I just skate and be patient, because if I keep working hard, things will come into play. It'll all line up.
Wow.